on this one because we've seen this matchup before. I think the weather war is the biggest differentiator here. We're looking at Sunny Day versus Rain Dance. Arcanine posed a lot of serious problems last time. So if Kiwamu can get Arcanine under control, I think this is a much better win or a much better position for Kiwamu to be in. The Life Orb Chen Pao also is a huge problem. We have heard from Kiwamu that they evade the Rillaboom and the Heatran to live an Icicle Crash, even if they are both grass types, because obviously Heatran can Terra into it, Rillaboom can Terra out of it. So Rillaboom pre-Terra, Heatran post-Terra both live an Icicle Crash from Qianbao, but we saw that they don't live an Icicle Crash from Life Orb Qianbao. So that specifically is going to be a huge problem for Kiwamu to deal with. And I'd expect that to return in a big way. It did a ton of work last set. I think it'll do a ton of work this set. So between the Arcanine and the Life Orb Qianpao, specifically the damage coming out of Life Orb Qianpao's Icicle Crash into the Heatran and the Rillaboom, but I mean also just like general damage. I think this is kind of an uphill battle for Kiwamu. I like I've said multiple times, I really love Kiwamu's team, but it certainly showed in the last one how rough it is to try and deal with a chin or try and deal with a super effective move that you've calced for when it suddenly becomes stronger. And there's going to be a lot more of that happening now.
Where he finished in the top 32, actually losing to Shohei, who eventually then would be the champ. So yeah, also maybe this now is the tournament that Hirofumi can take.
This isn't going to be easy for either the Team Umbra. Personally,
So yeah, I'm personally thinking as much as I want Kiwamu to win, I think Hirofumi is going to win.
Never mind. Considered and forgotten.
Yeah, it's one thing that Kiwamu just said after in the interview is that in the matchup before against Shohei, he was the one with a more aggressive team, and he was the one who could make aggressive reads. Now in this matchup, it looks like Hirofumi has a team that can go even quicker and even stronger.
Yes.
So now Kiwamu might have to change up the pace of his game a little bit, maybe slow it down just a little bit, and the Rillaboom lead would do that for him, or would allow him to do that. Paired up with that bulky Urshifu we've seen used to such great effect in the previous game. And in my opinion, in these Tornadoes mirrors, it's always very curious to seeing, do you need to lead off the Tornadoes? Does the Tailwind up front really give you that much to make it worth bringing it to the battle, knowing that, it will probably not do that much damage with Bleakwind Storm?
It also looks like they're doing a grand finals with resets.
Discussion is very interesting because that was kind of what we were debating earlier in their first match was like, are they going to lead Tornadus? Is one of them leave in the back and things like that? And in the first game, they both just had it in the back and it came in the end game. But yeah, in this case, it seems like it might be a repeat of that game where we see.
All right, so let's look at this lead a little bit. We see Rilla and Ursh versus Chen Pao Ursh. I think Kwamu's at the disadvantage here. Rillaboom is Kwamu's really only big way to like slow down the pace of the game, as the commentators are mentioning. But when your Rillaboom gets one shot, you're not really slowing any pace down. I feel like for Kiwamu, the play here is almost always fake out into Chen Pao and surging strikes into that slot as well. I think if you go for anything else, you're just risking your Rillaboom's life too casually. But that also leaves Hirofumi in the perfect position to counter that, like specifically that. See what he could bring in. Could just bring in the Rillaboom on this slot, on the Chimp House slot, and cause a bunch of problems. It's real rough. It's real rough. How do you deal with this? From well, actually, you know what?
Whereas Kiwamu leads with the Rillaboom and Urshifu water that we just talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually,
Is there really anything that you're switching into this? He could switch in his Tornadus if he brought it and do 50% to the Urshifu straight up with Rocky Helmet.
Yes. Let me
Sorry.
shuffle this around. So this one is Hirofumi and
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Yeah, so here, I mean, actually, Fake Out plus Surging Strikes becomes pretty tempting to this Chen Pao, right? I mean, oftentimes Chen Pao will run Terra Ghost, but one of the advantages of Terra
Yeah, switches it out.
Ghost is that
Tornadus.
Terra Poison is the immunity to Fake Out. So we're actually just going to see a switch out immediately here.
Tornadus.
Into Tornadus.
Yes, and it has a rocky helmet, so if the Surging Strike goes into that Tornadus, I think this Urshifu might take as much damage as that Tornadus does.
Oh, yeah, it does hit here, and we are going to see a lot of recoil, although, interestingly enough, the Rillaboom does not go for the Fake Out here, which I think is interesting personally.
Yeah, using the Tornadus as a switch into Urshifu, pretty clever because it allows you to delay Tailwind for one turn and also get all of that recoil damage on the Urshifu.
Yeah, oh, we see the U-turn, can it KO? No! So, yeah, if this Urshifu Water is trained to be faster than the opposing Tornadus, then an Aqua Jet could potentially pick up that Tornadus before a Tailwind can even be set up.
Oh,
And-
or you
Yeah,
have your
yeah.
own Tornadus, and if you're faster, you could set
You
up
can go-
Tailwind to ensure that Aquajet
Because
would
the speed
KO
order will be
first.
updated immediately. So
Yes.
it could be Tailwind, double Urshifu's speed, and then immediately Aqua Jet. So, yeah, on the other hand, Bleakwind Storm kind of tempting here, right? It's not like your Tornadus is really under that much pressure, right? So you could, in theory, especially with single target damage, you could Aqua Jet and Bleakwind Storm and just, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you'll live a Terra Water Surging Strikes, but it might not be the worst trade even if you, like, don't.
But I guess, though, you do a big downside to doing the Tailwind Aqua Jet play you just talked about. If Hirofumi reads this, retreats the Tornadus, and attacks the Tornadus on Kiwamu's end, which doesn't have the Rocky Helmet item, but we see that Hirofumi actually doesn't retreat at all, so maybe...
Hirofumi goes for the Terra Water.
So,
There's a lot
I mean-
a lot of reading happening here, but we see the Terrastalize...
If they don't go for Sunny Day-
Just goes for the Tailwind straight up.
Oh, this could be really bad for Kiwamu if that Urshifu
Oh,
knocks out the Tornadus.
Oh
Or gets to
no.
Go for any support moves.
oh, but
it's gonna be
Kiwamu...
close.
Oh, I think
Oh,
it lives. I think it lives.
Does it live?
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Will
goodness,
lives.
What a clutch survival, and here actually delaying the Tailwind gives you an advantage
Oh,
here.
but he
Oh.
missed the
Storm.
Bleakwind Storm onto Tornadus.
That's
Okay.
huge.
Oh.
That's huge because I think he also doubled up on the Urshifu. Of course,
Yeah.
he also needs to ensure that taking out the priority.
Okay.
Okay, close combat removes it.
He cannot do to him what he could have done to Hirofumi that turn, right?
Ooh,
Taking out the
okay.
Tornado With the Aqua Jet next turn, so
Yeah, Tornadus, Aqua Jet, or the Aqua Jet from the Urshifu seems like the freest thing in the world in this Tornadus.
Although I think we would rather use Tornadus than the
Yes,
Urshifu there.
absolutely,
So,
I agree.
so Bleakwind give it, Bleakwind take it the way, I guess.
Yes.
But yeah, this does probably give the opportunity to set Tailwind up, which is pretty. Ooh, then less
Ah.
Arcanine into the field. Hang on,
Yikers! So it's yeah, they're gonna trade Tornadus this year.
Is a little risky.
yeah, the Terra on the Tornadus is steel.
Or are they?
interestingly Enough, so no ghost, no way to turn that Tornadus immune to the extreme speed. But as we can see, Flutter Mane waiting in the back, that would be a Pokemon immune to E-speed.
I think if I was Kiwamu, I would like to see the extreme speed first. Like, I'm not sure if it's like a guilty till proven innocent kind of situation, but I would like to see the extreme speed first, and then be able to have a Flutter Mane that can kind of do whatever it wants to the opponent because it knows it's immune to extreme speed.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Comes
Switching
Chen.
Tornadus in preemptively could
Oh,
cause a
This could be
stick with
bad
a
news
rock
if
slide.
Aqua Jet is used by the Urshifu, but it doesn't. It goes for just the detect. So what does Arcanine lock into?
Oh, it is extreme speed and
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I really like
move than Prankster Tailwind. So
I don't think I really like not attacking with Tornadus this turn, or not attacking with the Urshifu this turn. I don't think there's many situations where you don't.
The high priority of extreme speed, though. Rillaboom's fake out in the back here. Wait, the Tornadus is really low HP, right? So a fake out surging
Yep.
strikes double up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even though we've just seen the extreme speed, there's still no Flutter Mane, and I think that's the correct decision because you want your.
I mean, I'm not sure it's gonna
opponent
matter,
to see
but
what is that.
I'm not sure that I really
Also
like
allows you
not
to
attacking with the
overstate,
Urshifu last
and
turn.
pressure. The Arcanine, with the help of Sword of Ruin, might be enough to get the KO on the Urshifu. Though we've seen that Urshifu survive much stronger attacks too.
Because like
but yeah,
this this
kind of in Kiwamu's side.
you know that this Arcanine has to E-speed to remove your Tornadus.
This is the turn
So
he has to-
why not just attack? Why not just throw an Aqua Jet into the other slot?
Here is that Sacred
Or into
Sword
the-
rewards
or into that
defense
slot.
off from close combat, unless I'm much mistaken. So even though Life Orb Sacred Sword might, with the defense drop, ordinarily pick up a KO, here it won't. And actually
switches it out.
How here?
He just reads him like a book here, just fakes out and surging strikes the Arcanine slot. Wow.
Although, honestly, the thing worth noting is that, like, Arcanine was locked into extreme speed, and if you'd taken the KO in the partner slot here, Fluttermane would always win 1 versus 1 because of the choice ban. But I think this is still a good play. I mean, the Tornadus is super low. It's in range of Aqua Jet whenever you want it. Like, I think this is a really nice play still from Kiwamu.
Yeah, I still think attacking was better that turn. I think going for the surging strikes or the Aqua Jet into the Tornado slot when they switched in the when Hirofumi switched in the Genpao would have been better, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter here.
Wow, a single hit does enough.
Yeah.
By the way, for anyone curious, the reason for terrestrialization there was in case the Tornadus switched in for Arcanine, then your Surging Strikes would still kill the partner, because Fake Out would take the Torn, and then it would be redirected to KO the Genpao. So this isn't over by any means, especially because Sucker Punch, the defense drop and life orb are still in play here.
Yeah.
Right?
But like I don't think you're ever in a situation where going for oh my god, it kills.
Big KO here on the Urshifu with a life orb Sucker Punch, and Hirofumi taking out a big threat here.
And he wants
If
to
Bleakwin
close
connects,
up to hit
this
so
is kind of bad.
It connects. Does it feint?
Connects,
Nope.
it lives though.
Thank you to the Assault Vest.
U-turn
Good
into
damage, and now
not U-turn.
no Woodhammer, it's just the knockoff, as it seems, knocking off the
I think
life
U-turn
orb.
would have been much better. You always you like guaranteed refresh fake out, right?
The Fluttermane that he has in the back.
I would hope so, to be honest. I think U-turn into the Tornadus there would have been really nice. Just pick up a KO.
U-turn into Tornadus or U-turn into the
That's exactly the play he was going for, though, Marcus. Like, over here, Hirofumi has a very safe, Icicle, I guess maybe not entirely safe, Icicle Crash, Tailwind, but the Rillaboom certainly can't knock out the Genpao with one hit at the Woodhammer, so I think that's probably what he's going for now.
yeah, Icicle Crash connects. It's gonna kill.
Oh,
It doesn't kill.
Oh,
I really thought it killed.
Oh my god.
Oh,
no.
double hits.
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
What a way to end this game 1, and I think maybe Kiwamu was on the right track there, going for the knockoff.
No, I think so. On the turn where we saw the Genpao switch out, what was the protect for? Was it for the sucker? It must have been, right? So why not keep your terror? Well, no, because the sucker wouldn't have killed because it was still fighting type at the time. I think you always, or when the Genpao switched in, for the Tornadus. I think you always Aqua Jet that turn, and then you always let your Tornadus die. And then later on, we saw that on the turn that Urshifu died, they didn't go for U-turn, even though U-turn would have picked up the KO on the Tornadus or done a whole lot of damage to the Genpao. I think missing out on both of those definitely cost Kiwamu the game. Both of those plays, I think, are potentially game-winning, right? Especially if both of them happen, right? If both of those happen, not only like the Genpao is in a really dangerous position after taking the extra damage from the Aqua Jet, and the U-turn, I think, guaranteed kills in that situation. And then all you have left, right, is a Rillaboom that just U-turned out and reset fake out that comes in on the right side, a Fluttermane that comes in on the left. Then you fake out into the Tornadus and it dies. Or if the Genpao lived, then you can fake out into that to keep it from attacking, and you're good. Like, you're just home free.
Yeah,
I don't know.
getting rid of that life orb
I feel like
boost,
those were
knowing
two
that
pretty
the
serious
Fluttermane is
misplays.
enough to take the unboosted Icicle Crash, still a very strong move. But unfortunately for Kiwamu, yeah, that flinch chance, coming in so handy for Kiwamu now.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think this was what I was scared of, like, seeing earlier on, is that, like, Kiwamu's team is very, like, respecting Icicle Crash, right? He has multiple Pokemon that can survive it even if it takes it, but I think at the fact that you're even taking the Icicle Crash already puts you at a disadvantage because of the flinch chance.
Yes.
On top of a critical hit chance, of course. So, yeah, I guess this might be the potential weakness of Kiwamu's team, where, yes, you're bulky enough to take these attacks, but you're still really
Still no Heatran.
Susceptible, thank you very much.
Heatran, no
Oh
Genpao.
yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be. I bet it's really hard for you switching back and forth. Oh.
So yeah,
You know what? No, I like sticking the same, as long as Kiwamu recognizes what the plays were that they could have made to potentially win.
Lose a game, especially because like so I think that there might
Because
have been a safe path
there was-
forward to victory with
there was absolutely.
Fluttermane and
So Wolf is talking about a safe path forward to victory, and I think he's going to talk about something different than I was talking about. But there was absolutely a path to victory for Kiwamu, and I think probably a path to victory that's pretty guaranteed.
if you turn the Tornadus, the turn that Sucker Punch killed Urshifu, because even if you lose your Rillaboom there to a double up, or like then you still have Urshifu and Fluttermane against Tornadus and like 1 HP Tornadus and non Sash Chen Pao, and there's a good chance that like Dazzle Gleam Aqua Jet plus like thanks to the grassy terrain you might be able to take a Sucker Punch. So I think that like there might like that if I were in Kiwamu's position, because that felt like a win for Kiwamu. It felt like Kiwamu did like 95% of the work and then just like lost on a flinch basically. But like I think there was a safe path forward there, and so that just feels really bad. And something that really worries me is that we've seen Kiwamu constantly be adjusting the Pokemon that they bring, and this time for the first time it feels like in a while they have not switched up the Pokemon they've brought. They've brought the exact same four, and I feel like Kiwamu is strongest when they are switching up the Pokemon that they're bringing.
However, if you catch an Arcanine here in the lead with your Urshifu Water, like imagine that was like a Tornadus Fluttermane lead or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think Kiwamu really needs the Urshifu on the board here against that.
So really, Rilla,
On the
this is
other
kind of a
hand,
weird
with the
matchup
Teammate, of
right
course,
now.
that is limiting the damage output of all moves besides that Surging Strikes.
Oh no!
Oh, is he going for it?
Well, the thing is that the Hirofumi's grassy terrain activated first.
Yes.
So going for a fake out here would be extraordinarily risky.
Oh, I think. I don't think there's like a.
Okay, I'm
great
glad you
layout.
didn't go for that.
Alrighty. Oh shit.
No, I think all the time you're not keeping that
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, Hirofumi making the play of switching in the Tornadus. I think that's a very like nice strategy here, just to get all the recall on the Urshifu. But nope, this time Kiwamu actually takes
Whatever
the rest
into.
from Hirofumi's
Damn. Okay.
Tornadus. While it doesn't have the Rocky Helmet, still a
So
little
Kiwamu's original play would have worked, faking out the Rillaboom and surging into the. I mean, he would have taken a ton of damage, but he would have done a ton of damage as Tornadus as well.
Like we saw him go for a pretty.
I do like this a lot better than what he was going for though.
Like this definitely keeps him in the game a lot more since you no longer have.
But the fake out into the Rillaboom would have actually worked.
Windstorm.
Yeah, although actually the play that he wanted to do, which was fake out the Urshifu, and I think Terra Water Surging Strikes might have KO'd the Torn and actually been really interesting.
If it was Surging Strikes, yes.
Yeah.
I think the Aqua Jet could have been more problematic.
Yeah. Oh, was it Aqua Jet?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no,
Yeah,
no.
that is very different. So. Here, what's interesting is that there aren't really great ways to get through this Rillaboom, right? I mean, you kind of have to rely on Bleak Wind Storm, which is never a position that I personally want to be in. As we do see Taunt coming out here, so Kiwamu...
Wow, what a risky play.
Yeah, like, I don't know if we knew whose Tornadus was faster. Maybe we knew from the first set.
I think we did know from the first set that Kiwamu's was faster.
Yeah, nice play from Hirofumi. predicting the
So
play.
I like that taunt.
On Kiwamu's side, there's actually no Pokemon really in the
Yeah,
back.
we do know it was faster because we saw
Take a Woodhammer.
some situations where we were dealing with the Tornadus Tailwinds proccing, and that was going to be relevant for the Weather Wars. I remember that from the first set. Yeah, this Hisuian Arcanine, as long as it stays off the field when Rillaboom or when Urshifu is on the field, Kiwamu has like no answer to this thing.
So, yeah, it's really impressive.
Yeah, and the problem is Kiwamu doesn't have KO pressure on this Arcanine. Even like the strongest moves he has was like a Shadow Ball and like Bleak Wind Storm. That's not gonna do it. And also even with the Sunny Day boost. So I wonder if he's just, I don't know, hoping for like a Rock Slide miss or something. But it looks like Kiwamu wants to go on the offensive. But he's aiming at the Tornadus, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, the thing about this play is that you have two Pokemon on the field that are your best two Pokemon and kind of your only two Pokemon when it comes to getting rid of the opposing Rillaboom, and you are leaving them in front of a potential double KO here, and including banking on a rocks or like on a Bleak Wind hit, if not like even more. So
There's a ton of damage, but not enough.
Special attack drop is only relevant depending on Bleak Wind here.
Bleak Wind does connect.
So that's good. I mean, that is good.
Drops the Torn.
There's a speed drop though. That
Speed drops on the Irish or on the Arcanine. I don't think that matters.
But now the important question is, it is Rock
What
Slide,
move?
and will it connect?
Flare Blitz. Live?
Wow, so just
No
really
live.
reading into the fact that Kiwamu did not bring Heatran, because I think being locked into that could be pretty dangerous. So yeah, good play on Hirofumi's end for just thinking it wouldn't come into this matchup.
Honestly, they're not a terrible trade for Kiwamu. Like, it was at the start of that turn, I was really worried about, like, Bleak Windstorm Rock Slide and just, like, yeah, becoming very... Because, like you said, it's not really easy to get rid of this Arcanine, at least in my opinion. And actually, not the Fluttermane coming in. It's actually going to be the Rillaboom here. I think Kiwamu might be reading the Rillaboom coming in on the other side. I'm sorry, I said Fluttermane, I meant Urshifu. But yeah, like, basically, actually, I don't get this. I don't understand this. I'm curious.
God, I wanna keep talking about this, but my voice is just shot after streaming for like 7.5 hours. So
I guess Woodhammer could get it with another Bleakwind Storm, but I don't know if you want to play that game, right?
Yeah.
I could see the Woodhammer KOing without the Bleakwind Storm, to be honest. Like,
I'm just seeing Arcanine's really showing its worth in this tournament.
But the thing is that if the
A lot of people have been underestimating that Pokemon for a really long time, and it's proving that it deserves a seat at the table.
It's not like Tailwind has been set up yet.
yeah, I guess he has a pretty safe like fake out into Arcanine and Bleakwind Storm, but you know, Hirofumi could read that and go for a fake out into Tornadus.
I think the Tornadus is Covert Cloak, but if Hirofumi fake outs the Rillaboom, then like, oh, actually a switch out here. I wonder if we're gonna see a U-turn repositioning. Oh wait, what's coming in here?
So this is a Chen Pao. So definitely sacrificing the Focus Sash for better positioning.
He's the life orb.
Oh, right.
So he can afford to do that.
Oh, yes.
But he has the faster Rillaboom, so he can also just do that.
Oh,
Bleakwind misses.
And it misses a Chen Pao.
Oh no.
That's
Although,
rough.
honestly, the Urshifu seems to me to be the bigger problem here. Like,
I agree.
yeah,
And it probably wouldn't even be a 2-hit KO into the Chen Pao, especially with the grassy terrain recovery.
yeah, and it has some bulk as well, right?
Yes.
So you really need to get rid of this Rillaboom in order for your Urshifu in the back to... Like, that has to be the ace in this match, right? Like, we know that there is an Arcanine Hisui in the back for Hirofumi that doesn't do well against Urshifu at all, right? So this is, I think, like the situation Kiwamu kind of wants. He has both Rillaboom and Tornadus, while his opponent does not have the Arcanine on the field. So I think if he can get this turn correctly and maybe force his opponent to get the Arcanine maybe earlier on the field that he would want to, yeah, that could be the way to victory. But now,
so there's
yeah,
no
terrestrialization.
Alright.
So there's a
So
sword
here's
rune
the
after
Terras
field.
on
I
the
would believe
Rilla.
that Kiwamu's
Terra
Rillaboom
Steel.
can knock out Hirofumi
Kiwamu
with Sword of Ruin.
is reacting, I think, positively. So we'll see how this goes.
For some reason, Terra Steel feels like it resists when Terra more than grass. Yeah,
I agree.
Here we go.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, a
Nice.
huge KO.
Moves the Rilla. That's really important. Now we're in a situation where Kiwamu's Urshifu can actually take over the game.
Crash, Chaos, the Rillaboom.
Yeah, I was thinking that if you save it for Terra Normal, do you think like Sucker Punch Extreme Speed could maybe take out with Sword of Ruin? Like it probably does a lot if I had to guess. So actually, yeah, interesting.
I don't think Sucker Extreme Speed kills. That's what they're talking about, is if you save the Terra for the...
This is the best I felt for Kiwamu the whole game.
Yeah.
So,
If you save the Terra for the E-Speed on the Arcanine, like, is that better? And I think the answer is no.
Tailwind because you have Unseen Fist.
yeah.
Yeah, so Hirofumi, with how that previous turn played out, certainly kicking himself a little bit there for using the terrestrialization when it didn't really accomplish anything for him there. But at the same time, a nice play from Kiwamu with the Woodhammer. I think
This
there
is
was a correct target
several
on the
orders of
side.
magnitude less powerful than
On the Rillaboom, ton of damage, if not getting a KO on the Arcanine on the switch end. So now that
Dragonite
terrestrialization is
E-Speed.
not a factor anymore for both of them, it's still the question is still, is there a safe way to do this for Kiwamu?
Yeah, the Extreme Speed definitely coming in over the Aqua Jet is a liability. And yeah, we could see the Sucker Punch Extreme Speed play you talked about. So definitely not.
We could see it, but I don't think that kills. I also think you have to go for it, but
Urshifu's HP. Legal Storm hits
No, Sucker Punch.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
This could be huge.
Yeah, I guess
No, I guess we
Kiwamu knew
Tailwind.
that Hirofumi knew he couldn't go for the Sucker Punch if he went for Aqua Jet. And yeah, it's just excellent mind game read here.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that even with the Sucker Punch, like, it's possible that thanks to...
even with Sucker, I don't think it kills.
Down that turn, that, like, Sword of Ruin wouldn't be active, and then maybe another Extreme Speed wouldn't KO, but this definitely felt doable for Hirofumi as well, whereas...
And E-Speed doesn't kill anymore. I mean, it didn't before, actually, but it did slightly under half. So if it was, like, a really favorable roll, then it's fine, but...
It definitely would have done enough. I take it back,
So
so...
he had, Sucker Punch and the chance to get a crit on one of the two. I think getting that turn correct for Kiwamu was actually still a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of the reverse of the first game, where in the first game I felt like Kiwamu like did all the work to get to the end, and then kind of like, I don't know, like it just didn't work out, and Hirofumi kind of like, I don't want to say stole the game, but found a way to grab it back at the last second. And this game I actually feel the reverse, where it was Hirofumi who I felt like kind of was in the driver's seat for most of the game and was in a position to win, and then at the very end, Kiwamu found the play that would bring them back into it. First of two.
Coming back play, this getting second.
The first of two. Whereas, wow, this is a really, really great first set of grand finals. And if Kiwamu wins, it'll be the first of two. Whereas Hirofumi has the ability to just end it.
So they are actually doing the losers, like the standard losers format,
Then in the end,
or the standard losers tournament with losers bracket format, where you have to win 2 if you're coming from losers.
So I wonder if he maybe wants to try and put damage on the Urshifu in a different way. Than relying on this Rocky Helmet switch in. It feels like Kiwamu is now aware that that is something Hirofumi likes to do. So yeah, I wonder how the mind games are going to go with that play.
I guess that kind of reminded me about like a playstyle thing. I think Hirofumi like really shows like how well you can defensively pivot on a very offensive team. Like you look at Hirofumi's team, and I think someone could think, oh, like
Hirofumi, I think. So something I think that this illustrates quite well, this choice band to Senior Arcanine, is that Intimidate Mons who do a lot of damage, Mons that have access to Intimidate but fit on hyper offense teams are actually like so valuable for that hyper offense team, right? Most of these Mons are not taking more than 1 hit from a lot of things, right? And being able to actually increase their hit taking ability is really important, while also being able to do some serious damage, being a threat in your own right, which speaks to the power of Lando and why that's been Lando T and why that's been such a serious or such a staple for as long as it has been, right? It's not passive, but it also provides support for your team. And that's sort of like why I was so enamored earlier with the Grass Knot Amoonguss. It's we saw the calcs, dealing up to like, or upwards of 80% to an Urshifu with a Grass Knot off a 0 special attack invested in Amoonguss. Like, it can do some pretty disgusting stuff to a lot of the threats in the metagame. It 2-hit KOs Chenpao. It is some serious damage to a lot of stuff. And it helps remove the passivity issue that Amoonguss has, which is the main reason that I hate playing Amoonguss, actually, is that I feel like it's way too passive in a doubles format. I feel like it only provides value if it has a partner doing something next to it, and I really find a lot of those Pokemon frustrating to run. Amoonguss also has its own score of issues right now, like Taunt is everywhere and all that kind of stuff. But Taunt is everywhere, Grass Hair exists, Safety Goggles is another very common item. Like it's having a little bit of a rougher time than it's used to. But being able to meld passivity, or being able to meld or merge together a mon that can actually do some damage with an ability or an item or a function that it does, that like, it's the same idea with Iron Hands, right? Like, think about Iron Hands. It provides you fake out support. It provides you a pivot through Volt Switch, but it also just does a lot of damage. It'll pick up some KOs for you. And that's part of the reason it's so much, like, that's part of the reason it's everywhere. It's part of the reason that Rillaboom sees a lot of play too. 125 base attack. And it has access to Woodhammer boosted by Grassy Terrain. It's probably going to pick up a KO. If they leave something in front of it that it can Woodhammer. And that's really valuable, right? It provides the supportive niche of fake out support. It provides Grassy Terrain to heal the rest of your team and weaken some specific ground moves. I believe it's Earthquake, Earth Power, and Stomping Tantrum are the 3 that it lowers the base power of. Like, that's a real legitimate value add to a team, right? And it provides fake out support, and it probably takes out some KOs. Like, this kind of Pokemon is so much more usable than a whole lot of the stuff that we see that's like really hard support, right? We saw a lot of games lost today because a Cresselia wasn't able to do anything when it didn't have partners.
Thing of Tailwind going for
And
surface,
I
right?
think that
Which
shows. Like
basically
Cresselia is
blows up,
an
but
insanely
he really
bulky
never
Pokemon. It's been a
actually
staple for
do
super
that. Like
long.
he really just
But
positions his Pokemon like
you
straight
know,
up intimidate, setting up
if
for
Cresselia
failure,
could do
and slowly
damage,
gain that incremental
it would
advantage.
immediately
Like, you
better.
don't
It would
really see
immediately be
Tailwind
better, right?
users.
Yeah, I totally agree. We are seeing what looks like a potential Pokemon switch here from Kiwamu, which is what I wanted to see in Game 2, though sticking to his guns definitely paid off. It's interesting to me that Heatran's not coming here, because I do feel like getting damage on that Rillaboom was like a little dicey. Like it worked out in the end, but it felt a little spooky, and so it's interesting to see, still no Heatran, which is one of the better Pokemon on the team for dealing with. And I'm not sure Chen Pao is coming here either. I think it's the others.
Wolf bringing up a bunch of good points here. In this meantime, Kiwamu had a lot of trouble with the Rillaboom. The Rillaboom seemed to be a really big sticking point in their success. And they're not bringing either of the Pokemon that they have that hit the Rillaboom for super effective damage. That feels a little bit weird. I would have liked to see either a Chen Pao or a Heatran bring, preferably Heatran because they've already brought Chen Pao. And introducing a new threat, I think, is part of their strength. Bringing a new threat in and then utilizing it to its fullest is part of what has gotten Kiwamu so far in this tournament. And I guess maybe Kiwamu knows this format knows that they're going to need to win 2 sets, right? So maybe they hold off on the Heatran until the second set, but to play the second set, you have to get to the second set.
So
Yeah, I think unlike in previous generations, I think Heatran is a Pokemon that is not so good in these mirror matches and is more there to cover like bases against like Trick Room teams like Torkoal, but yes, there's definitely some merits to bringing it if you can hard read which Pokemon your opponent is going for. And
God,
against
like
the
this
and Chanpao lead, Heatran could have looked nice.
Tailwind
Lock-in.
Heat Wave into
I don't know,
this.
maybe you two can explain to me
Disgusting.
why it was such an obvious move to him, I suppose.
yeah, so basically the obvious play here from Hirofumi is fake out into the Urshifu, and then because the Tornadus doesn't have Protect, use Icicle Crash into that slot. And so basically by going for Bleak Wind Storm in close combat, you, assuming you hit, will be threatening a ton of damage here, and it covers the fake out play basically where, because you're not under that much pressure. That being said, one of the best switches you could have made here was into the Tornadus because it resists the close combat. It's not super weak to the Bleak Wind Storm, and the Rocky Helmet damage will be like nice into the Urshifu. So we do see the Terra Steel coming out here, no Terra Poison, which makes sense in my opinion. We'll have to see what the Chen Pao goes for.
Yeah, I bet Kiwamu has been in this
Oh wow, what a read!
way!
I mean, also the Tornadus survived, which is even more insane to me. But
Hirofumi reading that Terra Steel,
it's not gonna matter.
Sacred Sword, but it's not enough for the knockout actually. And wow, I was gonna say Kiwamu probably was in the same situation before, but it looks like Hirofumi, has anticipated this. And wow, what a play! Definitely not how I think any of us expected this turn to play out. But yeah, now both players, I guess, are on familiar terrain. But once again, Kiwamu knows exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, wow.
I have to say,
Chen Pao is not in range of Aqua Jet, so this
Hirofumi
is
to have done that instead of Icicle Crash because if he had flinched there, it would be very
really rough.
Absolutely. Both players locking in quickly here actually is.
Oh, we go for that play that we talked about in game 2, yeah.
Tailwind. Taking a little more Rocky Helmet damage in the process, though. But yeah, I mean, honestly, even though Hirofumi got the read totally correct, the fact that Tornadus survived there with 3 HP is just, it's massive, right? Because now Tailwind is active, and also the Bleakwood Storm from last turn did so much damage to Hirofumi's team. So
we do now have that.
Hard red and use their Terra. Like, I personally feel like
We do have Tailwind. We do have the speed advantage from Kiwamu, but Hirofumi. I'm interested if they brought the Arcanine. If they brought the Arcanine, then we're in a position where this actually gets really interesting, right? We have 2 Pokemon for sure from Hirofumi that have priority to effectively nullify the advantage of the Tailwind.
Really does a lot of damage against. So Hirofumi felt pressure to take the knockout on Tornadus, which usually is quite disadvantageous as it allows Kiwamu now to bring in a fresh Pokemon to use the turns of Tailwind he has left.
Absolutely.
Now Kiwamu's living my dream of having fake out pressure with Urshifu and Tailwind. And I think
And
there's
max
not much,
turns of Tailwind as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's not much Hirofumi can do about this, right? I don't think he has any Pokemon in the back that can, I guess he has his own Rillaboom. But yeah, the fake out into the Hirofumi is Urshifu is so free here.
Yeah, although the Woodhammer with Tailwind up is kind of tempting as well, no?
Yeah. Oh, he goes for Protect.
I think it makes sense.
Yes.
You're only losing to close combat here.
Yeah.
And you don't want to take a Woodhammer, right? Like, I think the Urshifu really wants to take out the Chen Pao, and
Yep. I think the plan for Hirofumi at this point is, well, they have exactly the same Pokemon on the field, with the difference that Kiwamu has Tailwind up. So using your own Rillaboom as a defensive switch and into the Surging Strikes, get fake out pressure on the board for maybe a big turn in the next turn.
I also think one other thing that Kiwamu is lacked, right, is a good defensive switch. He can always bring in, I believe Flutter was the last one that he brought. He can always bring in Flutter here, but that does to Woodhammer too. So this Rilla nukes everything on Kiwamu's team right now. Whereas Heatran as a switch in,
which is really relevant because normally Urshifu
like defensively into one of these is a lot more useful right now. So I don't know. They're saying that they thought Kiwamu was, you know, in the lead. I don't think so.
I would be tempted to go for here.
Yeah. If he does go for
I'm
Taro
concerned.
I've seen that Urshifu take so many hits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanna bank it on that, but
he definitely went.
I think Heatran needed to come this game.
There it is.
There's the Urshifu.
Water for Oscillation over from
And he didn't go for the fake out, right?
We don't know yet.
U-turn?
He went for he went for a U-turn. Although fake out wasn't active for
Sorry,
Kiwamu.
yeah. On
He didn't go for
Hirofumi's side,
Woodhammer, though.
He didn't go for Woodhammer. is what
There's
I
the
meant to
fake
say.
out. Yeah, this is the play
Fake
that I would
out,
like
yep.
to see.
And this is in the Flutter main
This
then,
only telegraphs to
potentially?
me he went for Surging Strikes.
He doesn't go for Surging Strikes, but the question is
But
which
where?
slot.
Into the Flutter.
Oh my god.
Wow,
Talk
nice
about overkill.
play.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, even though the Flutter main also pretty...
Yeah, it turns out bringing the Heatran wouldn't have mattered in this case. You would die to this Surging Strikes,
Actually,
but
this is
like
really nice positioning because there's no Terra left for Kiwamu, and importantly, that Urshifu in the back is still alive. So a single Icicle Crash being able to take out the Rillaboom, while Woodhammer can take out the Urshifu, is actually puts Hirofumi in position to potentially win this entire tournament.
yeah, I think Hirofumi takes this.
U-turn and close combat's pretty safe into Rillaboom, and maybe you just hope that Aqua Jet could knock out. But I guess you'd probably be in Sucker Punch range of your opponents.
I don't think there's any world where Hirofumi does not take this.
Enough, though. I mean, this is like, you know how strong this is. That
Yeah,
should be
it
enough.
should be enough.
That should be enough. Kiwamu might have found the one way back into this game. Potentially, we'll have to see
There's
U-turn
the
coming
U-turn,
out. It picks
and
up the
it's enough.
KO.
Does
Okay,
KO.
2
I
against 2.
still don't think it matters, dude.
So
I think this is super over.
40% left, maybe.
Kind of fair bit.
Yeah, I don't know if that's enough, especially if you don't have Terra available on your Urshifu.
This is still that Life Orb
The
Gen.
grassy terrain?
Yes.
Oh, that could be relevant.
It's still that Life Orb Gen.
I mean, Rillaboom is not Intimidator or anything, but...
I think Life Orb Gen still kills this Rilla.
Woodhammer still might get the knockout on the Urshifu.
He has to hope for the crit. I think that's what he's thinking about right now.
Or the miss.
Or the miss.
Aqua Jet?
Yeah.
Oh no, the Icicle Crash. I think it,
Icicle Crash miss
Icicle
or-
Crash miss or Aqua Jet crit
Oh,
is
but,
probably
yeah,
his
but
only
he's
way
hovering
out.
over Aqua Jet, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
think I would
probably a
commit to
tough
the.
one.
I would commit to the Woodhammer. I think.
Tailwind's not still up, right? There's no way.
So we're thinking this is a double up into the Rillaboom, right? Icicle Crash and Surging Strikes from Hirofumi's side?
Yes.
Well, okay, here comes the Aqua Jet.
Nope.
Doesn't
Nope.
kill.
Did he miss?
That's Crash comes out. Picks
with
up the
the
KO.
Life
Oh wow. But because he's at -1.
But there's no
-2?
close combat on the other side. Okay.
Huh.
Life
no
Orb takes
more
out the Chen.
Ruin.
Yeah, no more sort of ruin.
Although Terra Water, I feel
He
like
does-
Terra Water does so much damage with the defense drop.
I think this is very over.
Does have
Close
close
combat.
combat.
But it's with close combat and it picks up KO.
Wow, and
Yep.
Hirofumi Kimura is the winner of your Wolfe Glick Japan Invitational. Just like that.
No, I really think Kiwamu
Very well played.
would have taken this to a game like
So he was able to maneuver
I think Kiwamu misplayed in game 1 of this grand final set. I think he could have actually taken it to
that should give the edge to Kiwamu, but in the end,
he could have taken it to set number 2
so well with the spot
in 2 games.
needed to do. And the Life or
and in 2 games
piano.
where he didn't
That's
bring
something
the
I've seen from
Heatran,
him.
so he could have brought
Probably
that
starting it.
in the second set
Yeah,
of grands.
absolutely. I mean, especially with the Terra Poison, right? Like, I
I
feel
don't know.
like with
I think that first game misplay was actually so impactful.
seeing a totally new defensive Terra type on a Pokemon that typically
Man,
already
that feels
fails, I think
bad.
is really cool. Right?
I really wanted them to win too.
Like, people just run Sash and they're happy with that, but it's really cool to see success with
Sag.
different kind of items.
Sag.
It shows kind of the innovation that we can expect out of
Sadness.
top Japanese players. Like, there's so much depth to this game, and it's really cool seeing a player explore a little bit more.
Yeah, and Hirofumi, even though he was stopped at the World Championships, now against all of these Japanese legends in this tournament, taking home the title. Yeah, I wonder what it feels like for him. I think you've mentioned this before on stream. Like, he's one of those players where
Yeah.
everyone kind of agrees.
No,
oh, at
I'm
some
looking
point,
back
if
at
he's
it, and
playing
it's
at this
like,
level, at some point he might
please,
just win a World Championship
bring the
himself.
Heatran. I don't know.
This year wasn't the year, but he definitely showcased.
Maybe if he
team
brings the
in such a
Heatran, he
great way,
loses
and
some
yeah,
other way.
can't
But
wait
the
for
Heatran feels
three or
really
four
good to me.
finalists in this interview.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I guess one of you. All right.
Awesome.
See you later, Marcus.
Great. Thank you so much. We got our finalists.
Man, really good tournament though, and we had a lot of like. I feel like there was a lot of good analysis too. I feel like this makes for some good YouTube videos. And I mean, congrats to Hirofumi. Or Hero. Did I fuck up the game? I totally did, didn't I?
For both players, like it feels like it wasn't as popular, especially in Japan, but it seemed to do a lot of work here. Like,
No, I was right. Hirofumi. Congrats to Hirofumi. He played really well today. I was very impressed. Big consolation to Shohei and Kiwamu. Both of them played exceptionally well today too. It felt like, you know, they just got outplayed slightly more by the person next in rank, you know. Yeah, really great tournament. We saw a lot of cool stuff. You know, it really shows just how much variance. You know, I hear all the time. I hear all the time people who are casuals, right? And I know that no comp player actually believes this, but people who are casuals always talk about like everybody uses the same Pokemon. It's so boring. Like I want to see new Pokemon. Blah 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 blah. But we saw a whole lot of the same Pokemon today, and every team played so differently. Movesets and EVs are such a big deal. You know, and anybody who thinks that, you know, this tournament was just a bunch of the same stuff, it clearly didn't watch it. You know what I mean? So I think this tournament, you know, it lights a lot of fire under a lot of people to consider new possibilities. Certainly myself. I mean, I feel like I've been very bored by this regulation, and yet, you know, multiple teams today came out and showed me like, wow, this still has a lot of life left. Like this might still be worth playing. Like you don't just need to wait for Politoed, you can play now. Which is really refreshing, you know. I haven't seen that on ladder. I didn't really see it a whole lot in worlds. But we come out here and everything just felt different, you know. So I'm happy that I watched this. This was a really good experience in terms of watching like the watchability of the event. So big thanks to Wolf for putting this on. I mean, you'll never hear me say thanks, but because I my community is way too small for me to like make a big splash or whatever. But yeah, definitely was worth the watch.